welcome back. As I've said in some previous videos, I've had some trouble with this recording software that I've been trying to use to make these videos with. So if the resolution or the picture is off, there again, I'm using a really old system, and so it will only perform up to a certain degree. It's been a few days since the last post. I'm hoping that this recording will go well, you know, and that I won't have to redo it like with the last one. That was a real bummer not to have the actual reading recorded. So we'll see how this pans out. As usual, I've got 2 readings to do. There are some things that I could update while I'm getting ready, but I'm not in the space where I want to share a lot of that right now. Suffice to say, a lot has been going on. If you happen to be added to my social network on Facebook, then you'll know a little bit about some of the changes that are taking place. But like I said, I don't want to go into that on this video that's going to be posted pretty broadly. It's been a strange thing. I'll speak to that briefly. On an intuitive level, I've felt this, you might call it a hesitation, as far as what I feel okay with sharing online versus not. I've just had this intuitive feeling that maybe some things shouldn't be put out there. That's the thing, when you post something online like that, you never really know who's watching, and you certainly don't know how their thoughts, much less their actions, are affecting what you do. I tend to believe in that whole notion of a ripple in a pond. I think that people's thoughts and their emotions affect reality as much as their actions. So I've just had this feeling that I should be more aware of what information I put out there. On that note, for those of you who don't know, one good thing I'll say about Facebook, it's got this filter thing that you can do. When you make a post, you can go through the people that you're connected with on there and selectively choose who you're sharing your posts with, I mean, depending on what it is. And so I found that to be pretty useful. I use that these days. I'm going to get to the reading soon enough. I'm just taking my time. As I said about the software, I have had some issues just trying to get this stream to work. I really need to update my system sometime soon. Alright, take a moment here to get reacquainted with the cards. Before I go there though, let me take a moment to ground myself. said earlier, I'm going to be doing 2 readings. The first will be for my friend Jynxi, and the second will be for my friend Tonia. The first reading was requested, and as I have said sometimes in some of the previous videos, the second reading, it was a intuitive message and feeling that I needed to do a reading for this person. I was also told that I'm supposed to use this dice in that second reading, so hopefully I will remember to do that. I'm just going to mix these cards. I'm getting this feeling that the cards need to be turned and shifted, so I want to do that. A lot of energy in the air this evening. Okay, let me take a moment to connect my energies with the cards and connect Jynxi's energy with these cards. Okay. All right. Okay. Imagine that the microphone didn't pick that up, but I'm hearing knocking above. Mentioned in some previous videos, that's a pretty common occurrence. Trust me, no one's living in my attic that I know of, but I do get a lot of rapping on the ceiling, and the lights will flicker sometimes randomly. 2, 3, 4. Okay. As I said, I'm feeling energy, a lot of energy going on. I'm not sure how to quantify it just yet. Maybe it'll be more clear when I start the reading. For those of you who are new to the channel, I'm using the Heart of Fairy Oracle deck. If I can remember, I might post some pictures of an oracle deck that I designed. Now let me be clear in saying that none of the art in this deck is mine. I'm not an artist as far as drawing or painting is concerned, but I designed this entire deck for a friend of mine. It was a birthday gift for him because he was interested in tarot and oracle decks. But I've decided to get that ordered and start using that. So I don't know how soon, but at some point in the future, the readings that I do will be using this new deck. And so I'll try to remember to post some pictures of the deck. It's really beautiful. It's gorgeous. So yeah, there's that. Okay, let's see if the cards are ready. Okay, your status card is the hidden one, and it is reversed. Okay, I'm definitely getting a presence coming through with this card. I'm not going to quantify it because I don't know that. This card is speaking to the fact that there is a spiritual presence in your life right now. Like there's, you've got someone with you, either a guide or a spirit that you picked up somewhere. I'm definitely getting presence and spirit coming through very loudly. Hence the reverse nature of this card being the hidden one and it turned up. And I'm very drawn to the face. And I'm really hesitant there again to say, I don't want to speak to the flavor of this card, but the figure in this card has a mischievous smile, so that there could be malice, but it could also simply be playful. But definitely, I'm getting a presence, and as I said earlier, a lot of energy coming through. I can feel it in this card. It's virtually vibrating. So this is neither good nor bad, I don't think, necessarily. But yeah, presence. Your status card, the hidden one. Okay. Okay. Your challenge card is the juggler, and it's also reversed. Okay. This is sort of a 50-50 weird card. I mean, the way it's being presented here. As I've said before, sometimes the reverse nature of a card will come through with the intuition, and then sometimes it's simply reversed for different reasons. And here, I don't get this feeling that it's reversed because of a specific reason or it's trying to change the meaning here. What's coming through is a feeling of the world being turned upside down, quite literally, and being unable to juggle things. That's also coming through here. So yeah, this challenge is a feeling of sort of being thrown into a cyclone or a tornado or something. There's a lot of chaos involved, and this internal desire to want to be able to balance things, and feeling as though everything's overwhelming. So yeah, the juggler. Not a bad challenge card, all in all. But I do, as I said, I get a strong sense of chaos. Okay. Card's not ready yet. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Your tool or resolution card is the Lady of Joy. There were a few intuitive messages that came through really fast when I turned this card over. A part of this, the first thing that I noticed when looking at this card is that this figure is illuminated compared to the background. She really stands out. A part of the message that's coming through here is speaking to this sort of nature of pursuing pleasure or enjoyment at the sake, potentially, of what you've got here in your challenge card of trying to balance things. It's this thing of like feeling overwhelmed, and so you're moving into a space where you're not being attentive possibly to something because it is overwhelming. This card is speaking to running from that to a degree, running from that responsibility or that feeling. Yeah, this is another strange card. It's like this one in that the meanings are a little skewed here. Um, I'm also getting the intuitive message of sort of tending what you sow. That's coming through very loudly. There's a lot of foliage in the background of this card. And whereas this person, the figure in the card here, they just seem like it's all trivial, like they're on holiday or something. And this card is saying the approach to your challenge thus far is to try to dig in deeper, not to give up, not to be overwhelmed, and to sort of focus more on what you're sowing, focus more on that ground and that work. All in all, not a bad card. The Lady of Joy. As I said, it was reversed. So yeah. Card's not ready yet. Okay. Your outcome, and let me use quotations as I usually do, potential outcome is the Prince of Shadows. Okay. This intuitive message was slower to come in, and like the rest of them, it was nuanced. This card is speaking to the ability to see through shadow, hence being the Prince of Shadows. The way this card is designed is unique in that although Shadow is in the title and this figure is supposed to be the Prince of Shadows, the face is actually really illuminated. It gives you this feeling that he is piercing the veil, seeing through illusion. And just like with your first card here, there's a lot of spirit element with this card. So you may in fact be getting some assistance via spirit with this problem. Not a bad outcome card. I do get though that there's a duality also with this card. When I turned the card over originally, there was part of this intuition was that this is speaking to also a person, someone very specific. Not necessarily someone that you know right now. This may be someone that you will meet, say in a week or a month or whatever, but I am getting the impression that this does deal with a person. And there's some potential there that this shadow is involved. Yeah, I stand by that. There again, the light and the dark, the contrast in this card is coming through very loudly. I do think that this person will offer some perspective, if nothing else, about these issues that you're having and with this spirit element here. So I'm getting this feeling of clarity. So yeah, not a bad card. The Prince of Shadows. Okay. Okay. Your personal card is the Green Woman. It's a really nice personal card. The intuitive message that's coming through here is ownership. It's about being in your element, being the queen of, your space. A lot of personal power coming through with this card. Also, there again, it ties back to your challenge card of paying attention to the earth and being attentive to what you're growing. This personal card here says you have the potential to really own all these situations and to make them yours in a positive way. So I think this is a beautiful personal card. Rounds everything out really nicely. So yeah, the Green Woman. As I normally say with these personal cards, do take your time and look at the image closely. There will be something in this image that speaks directly to you, and it may or may not be the intuition that came through from me. And of course, if you have trouble seeing the image, let me know via email or messenger, and certainly I will send you a better picture of it. Yeah, the Green Woman. Yeah. I like that. As I mentioned before, this potential outcome card, it was really mixed and sort of weighted in a lot of different ways. So too was this challenge card to a degree. It was not what I expected. But all in all, I think it's a pretty positive reading. As I said, there's some element of spirit going on, which I think is involved in some of this chaos. And I don't necessarily inherently get this impression that it's evil or malice or whatever. The intuition that's coming through here in some ways is that this is the universe showing up saying, look, there are some problems and issues, and this is a really good time for you to own that and deal with some things and sort of come out on the other side and become this Green Woman of these situations that are causing you hardship and stress and stuff. So yeah, all in all, I think a fairly positive reading. Definitely if we have further questions or concerns about your reading, you need me to look further, let me know. I certainly don't mind to do that. So yeah. Okay, I'm going to take a moment, put these cards back in the deck, and then move on to this second reading. Supposed to go in the back. Okay. As I mentioned in my last video, I've got some other videos lined up that I want to try to do that don't involve readings. I don't know when I'll get to those. Right now I've had some difficulty lining up times to work with people. These videos are going to be sort of like podcasts where I just have a conversation with someone else about some things that have been going on in my life personally and in the world in general. So yeah, I don't know when that'll be, but it's on the drawing board. As I said earlier, if you follow me on Twitter, or if we're connected via Facebook or something, you're more likely to hear updates on that. So that just is what it is. If I can remember, I'll post those links below with the video. Mix the cards here a moment. I'm supposed to turn them again. Okay. Okay. Alright. Oh. It's supposed to go on top. Let me take a moment, reconnect my energies with the cards, and connect this next reading with Tonia. Okay. Card that comes up a lot, and it has come up a lot recently. Your status card is the question. There's soul searching coming through with this card, obviously with the name of it, the question. Inherently, it's about a crossroads, some decisions going on in your life. You need to make a decision, and it's not an easy one. I'm also getting this feeling of isolation. Not isolation in the sense that you aren't around people, but feeling isolated. That feeling of being in a crowded room and feeling like you're all alone. Very intense. That. It's tied into this crossroads. It's a feeling of standing out in the middle of a forest, completely alone, lost, and sort of overwhelmed about this question that's going on. Wow. A lot of energy coming through. Yeah. Isolation, big life choice question thing going on here. Some internal struggle and that feeling of being alone and having to make it. Yeah. The question. Okay. Card's not ready yet. Okay. Hmm. Wow. Your challenge card is the Lord of the Forest. Hmm. I'm not surprised to see this card. The intuition that's coming through here is very complex. There's a lot of layers to it. A big part of this a big part of this deals with the sentiment of possession. Not spirit possession, but being in a situation with someone and them wanting to run the show. There again, there's also some mental illness here. It's a sort of mania, of this very strong desire to want to own. It's like property, to be in control. Yeah, I'm not getting that there's any significance to the fact that this card is reversed, other than it was important that I really pay attention to this face the way it is. There's such an intensity here in this card. It's disturbing. Also, a part of this coming through, it speaks to that we all have a certain inner narrative that we tell ourselves about the world and what's going on in reality. And there's a really strong narrative coming through with this card, but it's isolated to this figure, whoever this figure is. Very strong. The Lord of the Forest. As I said, this card was reversed, but it's not significant to the meaning. It didn't come through intuitively when I turned it over. A lot of energy in that card. Okay. Hmm. Okay. This is not a bad tool card here. It's the Captive Man, and it is reversed. And that reversed meaning speaks very loudly. This is talking about seeing through all kinds of BS and just illusion everywhere, seeing to the truth. A very personal, internal part of your own narrative, but there's a truth there that you can find if you choose to look for it. But in doing so, you've got to step outside of madness and chaos and a lot of elements. I'm also getting intuitively that there's a lot of people involved in this for some reason. Like it's just like a big soap opera type thing here going on. There are a lot of voices, a lot of elements. There's a lot of chaos, and to some degree, there's some negativity here. There are a lot of what I would consider negative figures in this card. And this being reversed is saying you got to drown all that out. Go to the river or the mountains or a place where you can have peace and serenity and find that truth. That is because that's what this tool card is saying. Find the truth. Yeah. Wow, there's a lot going on with that card. As I said, it's the Captive Man. It was reversed. I'm also supposed to mention here, you may or may not have been able to see it via the cam, but there's a figure of a horse in the background of this card, and this, I'll try not to make this explanation long, but there's a TV show that I really like named Millennium, and there's a woman in the show actually who has psychic abilities, her character does, and in a very pivotal scene, this woman is sort of having this apocalyptic vision of the future, and horses are involved there. And so I'm getting some of that intuitively with this card as well, saying be careful that your own whatever it is that you got going on in your mind, that it's not fueling some of this chaos and this negativity. So it's speaking to this whole fact of you got to work on that narrative so that it is truth and not what you want to think it is or whatever. Like that's a part of it that's coming through intuitively. So bear that in mind with this tool card and finding your peace and finding your own truth. Make sure that it's not overly biased. That's an easy thing to do. Wow. A very fitting outcome card, I think. Your outcome card here is reversed. It is the Prince of Shadows from the previous reading. And it's speaking very loudly to clarity. In this instance, the reverse nature of the card is important. It's speaking directly to the Lord of the Forest here, and that deception and that ownership, that possession that's going on here in this card. This potential outcome card is saying you may find this truth that you're looking for. There's a high probability if you are willing to do this work with your tool card. And in this instance of the card, the intuitive message that's coming through here is that this is speaking very loudly to a Prince of Shadows because there's some deception going on. Very subtle, very crafty deception and illusion going on here with this card. But with it being reversed, it's saying that's overturned by the light that you could potentially find with this truth card. So a really positive outcome card, all in all. card's not ready yet. Card's still not ready. I need to do these dice before I forget. Alright. I wasn't given any message specifically about the dice as far as how this is going to go. So we'll see. We're going to roll 1 to see how many digits we need. Just got 1. Alright. And your number is 1. There again, I wasn't given any instruction. I was just, that intuition came through that dice needed to be a part of this. So my suggestion to you there is to be attentive to instances where the number 1 pops out and you're sort of intuitively aware of it being, you know, potentially significant, and then follow that bread trail, see where it leads. Ironically enough, the number assigned to this reversed Prince of Shadows card is 11, so perhaps it even speaks to that already. Okay, let's see if this personal card is ready. Still not ready. Okay. Wow. Okay. Your personal card here is the Thief. It's also reversed. The intuitive message coming through to me, this is speaking to a recovery. You know, it's about regaining something, whether that's, you know, personal freedom or peace of mind. The word returning keeps coming up and coming through. Definitely returning and recovery. There's a strong feeling of satisfaction as well with this. You know, it's sort of like walking miles, you know, to reach a place, and then you finally get there, and that's the feeling coming through with this card. That revelation. This is also speaking to truth, the truth that we were talking about here in your tool card. Yeah. All in all, I think a pretty good personal card. Show it to the camera the way it was, and then I will turn it up so that you can see it. As I said, this is the Thief. There again, this is your personal card. You will find something in this image that speaks directly to you. Definitely take your time, study the image. If you have trouble seeing the card, let me know. I will send you a picture of it. It's not a problem. So, all in all, not a bad reading. As I said, there's a lot of chaos, and to some degree there's some negativity going on in the background here that's interconnected to this challenge card. You know, at the end of the day, it's all about what a person wants in their life, what they choose to do. We all have free will. Intuitively, I am getting this impression that this figure in this first card, the status card, this is a place you've been before. Not necessarily concerning, you know, whatever's going on with this particular challenge, but this sort of crossroads of, I'm alone, I need to make a very important decision, I don't know what to do. You know, it's a very frustrating situation to be in. So yeah, all in all, not a bad reading. Definitely, if you have further questions, I don't mind doing a further reading to hash some more of it out. Certainly, that's not a problem. So yeah, I think that's all I have for this episode. There's not really anything else that I want to mention. I'm not sure when the next video will be. It will greatly depend on the unusual nature of reality in the universe. I would not have been doing this video had it not been for a request for a reading, and then, as I said, I had that intuitive feeling of I need to do one for someone that I know. So unless circumstances occur where those things happen like that, you know, I may or may not do one anytime soon. It will just depend. Maybe I may do another one, you know, within the next few days. Just kind of play it by ear. Yeah, I think that's all. As I usually say, I hope all of you are well. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're new to the channel, or if you're a subscriber and you've been following for a while, if you're interested in a reading, I do them for free. I don't charge anything. So certainly leave me a message and let me know if you'd like to have one done. The only thing that I ask, if you want one done, leave a name that connects. It doesn't have to be your name, but leave a name in your comment, a name that connects with you, so that when I do the reading and I try to connect your energies to the cards, it works that way. Also, I will say it's my preference. I don't tend to work on questions. There's a potential for specific questions. There's a potential for them to bias the reading. You know, if I have that mental chatter going on in my brain when I'm trying to interpret these intuitive messages that are coming through, like it can create dissonance. So there again, if you'd like a reading, you know, leave a message with a name that you want used for you, but don't include a specific question of, oh, am I going to get this new job, or am I going to get married, or whatever. Like, just kind of leave that space, because that way I can focus on what comes through with the cards. Again, there's no internal chatter of me thinking about whatever it is that's going on with you. So yeah, that ramble aside, yeah, I hope all of you are well, and I will see you soon.